The more I see what's happening around us, the creepier it gets. It really does. Because I can only imagine a world where everything is fine. Anyway, let's get down to business. Kids to explore eating bugs to gauge appetite for alternative protein. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. They have a term for it now. Alternative protein, they call it. Of course, that's just what they're calling it now. School children are used to eating hot dinners such as fish and chips, spaghetti bolognese, and lasagna. But children at 4 primary schools in Wales are set to take part in workshops organized by scientists and teachers to inform them about the benefits of eating alternative protein like bugs. These will include plant-based foods and may involve edible insects, depending on whether they have received novel foods approval by the Food Standards Agency. These will be in the form of conventional mints, which combine plant-based and alternative protein. Well, there you have it, folks. It has begun. And I know some of you have been seeing the boxes of crickets and mealworms popping up in random markets, and they are going to push this on our kids, whether you like it or not, in school programs, bug festivals, and the like. And see, the thing is, they know that children would be easily duped into eating bugs. They're kids. But at the same time, I would expect many kids to be grossed out by that idea. I guess not in 2022, where anything goes. One of the goals here is to get children to convince their parents to eat bugs too. Yeah, I'm not eating bugs. A study in the Journal of Cleaner Production found insect farms emit 75% less carbon than poultry farms. As people in the UK look towards more sustainable diets, doubters of insect-based diet will be pleased to know edible bugs are rich in protein, antioxidants, vitamins, and other nutrients. The project starts this week and aims to better understand children's understanding of alternative proteins. It will use surveys, workshops, interviews, and focus groups to explore this. And so, who is behind this study? Verity Jones of the University of West England in Bristol is behind the study and said, "Everyone eats insects every day. There's over 30 parts of bugs in every 100 grams of chocolate. Bread, fruit, juices, hops, you name it. You're eating insects," she said. Really? Okay. Yes, insects and bugs do make their way into the food supply and to other products, but now we are talking about adding pounds and pounds of this stuff to our diet. That's a big difference. So they're going to convince the children at this primary school of this and convince them that this is good for the environment. And you'll leave less of a carbon footprint. They figure that ground up bugs is better than whole bugs because you won't know the difference if it's mixed up with plant protein. So first of all, the US, Europe, Thailand, the Netherlands, Mexico, Brazil, Australia, China, Ghana, all bug-eating countries, right? Folks, we have these things that exist that are called parasites, okay? And they live in bugs and insects, all of them. Grasshoppers, grasshoppers carry a parasite that makes you want to kill yourself. Well, not you. It makes the grasshopper want to jump into water and drown itself. I've done a presentation on this before, how parasites can affect behavior, not only in animals, but in humans as well. No matter what it is, the same basic rules apply to everything you eat. Actually, the Bible does have a pretty good list of do's and don'ts when it comes to what we eat, which can be found in the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. And in this chapter it reads, and you have to keep in mind, this was written for the Hebrews in the days of Moses because they were out in the wilderness. God wanted them to have some guidelines on healthy eating, because if you're hungry out in the wild, sometimes people will eat anything. And of course, that could lead to diseases and more problems. Do you see? So here it reads, and the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud, among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divided the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. A coney, which is a hyrax, a type of mammal. Kind of reminds me of a weasel or a ferret. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. You know how rabbits always look like they're chewing bubblegum? Animals that chew the cud have a way to store food in their stomachs in something like a separate pouch. They can then regurgitate that stored food and chew on it again, which is why those types of animals tend to look like they are chewing on something, and they are. But rabbits have paws, so they aren't really that healthy to eat. Pigs have hooves that are cloven, meaning the hoof is divided into separate parts and split in the front into two. But pigs don't chew the cud, so they are not healthy to eat, really, and they aren't. Pork isn't really that digestible to begin with. Horses have a single hoof, right? So they aren't on the list of things to eat. So you get the idea. They have to have a split hoof or divided hoof and chew the cud. Then it reads, These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. This one is pretty simple. Again, this is about what is healthy and what is not. Remember, these people weren't living in the days of pollution and toxic chemicals and processed foods, so they weren't faced with the same level of contamination we are. So when it comes to creatures that live in water, anything that has fins and scales is good to go. One reason for this is those types of fish filter out toxins better. That means no catfish, no lobster, no crab, no shrimp, crawfish, no octopus or squid. And then there's a list of rules for flying creatures. And these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey, and the vulture, and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the night hawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gyre eagle, and the stork, the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. All fowls that creep, going upon all four, shall be an abomination unto you. A fowl that creeps on all fours is basically an insect. And a lot of those birds are straight up scavengers or carnivorous predators with hollow bones. So you can see the animal's diet has a lot to do with how healthy it is for us to consume as well. After this, it covers insects and bugs you can eat. Yet these may ye eat of every flying creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. Then the chapter goes over a bit more about land animals and how you don't want to eat anything that crawls on its belly. You don't want to eat reptiles or frogs or snails or anything that has paws or hands. Now, when I was a kid, I had chocolate-covered grasshoppers before, but we're not talking about a whole meal here. I mean, I was a kid. It was probably one or two grasshoppers, and they were covered in chocolate. Here's what they are trying to do. They say this is part of the diet of around 2 billion people, and that the Democratic Republic of the Congo is where people eat these things the most. Now, they estimate that they eat around 14,000 tons of insects per year there, which is about the size of a battleship in weight. Folks, there's around 90 million people in the Congo, so don't let them make you believe that this is such a big part of their diet. Just like if you go to China, not everybody is sitting around eating bats. Those of you who like lobster, crab, shrimp, maybe some calamari, I'm sure none of you are eating that stuff every day, and I'm pretty sure you know what would happen if you did. They want more control of what you eat. Look, if you are just going to take some bugs and grind them up and mix them with ground up plants, why don't you just give me the ground up plants and call it a day? It's more sustainable. No, it's not. You know what's sustainable? If people grow their own bugs at home and eat those. Just like if they were to grow their own food at home. That's sustainable. Not getting your bug meal from a factory that, according to studies, almost always are contaminated with various parasites and bacteria. They're bugs. Oh, it's psychological. We've been raised to hate bugs. No, you scientific idiot. Most people just don't like bugs in their house or in their food. And there is no discrimination there because you wouldn't want to come home to a pack of wolves sitting in your living room. Just like you wouldn't want to come home to a flock of birds flying all around in your kitchen. Just like you don't want rats or mice. The same applies to bugs, of course. Lobsters look just like most insects, and people have feelings for lobsters, just like they would a chicken or a fish. And most people I know don't want to kill and prepare a lobster. There are people who fight for bugs' rights too. If they start to mass produce bugs, which the Congo hasn't done yet, all they do is chop down trees, and whatever bugs come out, that is the main source. If this is done on a farm or factory, I'm telling you, it's not going to be healthy. It's animal feed. The main thing is, don't let them push this on you. Don't let them convince you this is the route we need to go. Let's not even talk about the issues we're going to have with personal relationships between people who eat bugs and people who don't. That's all for now. There is more to come very soon, so stay tuned. Be sure to visit woodwardentertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment Store. You can follow me on Instagram at JAEWoodward. Everyone have a great day, and until next time, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.